Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 2018's Creed 2. So before we get started, if you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Corey_idol. And as always, if you want to follow the show, you can follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Kiss the Reviews. And let's get into the cast of 2018's Creed 2. All the same people with the additional 2. No. So this film stars Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Johnson, Sylvester Stallone as Rocky Balboa, Tessa Thompson as Bianca, Phylicia Rashad as Marianne Creed, Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago, and Florian Munteanu as Viktor Drago. Just like Creed, the first Creed. This is a Warner Brothers film, so no clips in this one. Maybe I'll try to sneak a few in, but mostly no clips in this one. So just a blanket statement. I won't get into everything we got into last week, but fuck you, Warner Brothers. All right, let's move on to this.
And kind of, you know what? Fuck you too, YouTube. Because
yes,
you are not trying to even come close to helping any of us.
No.
It's like, fuck them, fart in the wind.
No.
Moving along.
If you do a quick search for Warner Brothers copyright, whatever the hell on YouTube, there's like 4 million videos of people just like us having the same fucking problems.
You were right.
Creed 2 kind of just upped the ante a little bit from the first Creed, which it should. And I'm going to say this. As far as franchises go, right? And I know the title, it's not, Rocky 8 or 9 or whatever the fuck it is in the Rocky timeline. Almost every single one of these movies was better than the one that came before it, except for like Rocky 5, the one with Tommy Gunn. That one was just a piece of shit. But mostly they've literally upped the ante on the writing, the directing, the cast, the storyline, like everything kind of gets upped. And then you hit like the apex, which is like the Creed portion of this franchise.
It's different.
It was different.
It's a lot different.
I viewed this very differently, I think, maybe than most. Not to say I'm a soothsayer or some fucking magical fucking film critic, because I'm neither of those things. However, the first half of this movie reminded me a lot of the second Rocky, but from Apollo's point of view.
Yes.
Because we only saw what Rocky was going through, really, after he won and had the success. Yeah. And in this, Adonis loses. He doesn't lose, but he loses pretty much to Viktor right away.
Yes.
Right? I mean, just gets his ass handed to him. And you see him in the hospital, and the way he's beat up, he looked like Apollo at the end of the fight in Rocky 2, which he lost.
Yeah.
And you kind of see him struggling to come back and get back in the ring, and how he was going about fighting those fears and that PTSD of getting the shit kicked out of you.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very interesting take on this film. And I would love to know if it was intended to be that, or if I'm just kind of implying something that isn't there.
Is it possible this story is true?
And this is my one beef with the way they treat the original Drago Creed fight. That was a charity bout.
Yes.
That Drago took way too fucking seriously.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, I never thought I'd see Creed Drago again. You probably didn't see it the first time. How many fucking times do you see a charity fight?
Yes.
There's a reason it's a charity, like it's for that crowd only. This had nothing to do with real boxing, and Apollo had been retired.
Yeah. for
he
a
was
few
not
years.
in
Yeah.
his prime. Yeah, he had been training Rocky through Rocky 3 and had moved on and was basically like, that's what he did.
Yep.
I don't know why we're hyping this up like it was fucking Hearns Hagler, where we had all these fucking fights to base it off of in this war. You know what I mean? It happened one fucking time, and one psycho Russian fucking killed a dude in a charity boxing match.
Exactly.
Who's been retired for years.
Exactly. Well, and they take they take the seriousness of the you know, the Drago family, I guess, into the opening scene where it's now we're in Ukraine where Ivan Drago's son is fighting and he's just smashing the fuck out of people, and they've apparently been exiled from Russia, or Drago is like, fuck this, because like I was like a celebrity and now I'm a poor, so I moved to Ukraine. So we get those opening scenes, and then we get Donnie fighting for the title against the dude who took his Mustang in the first movie.
Right.
And he wins and he snags the title here. So this kind of sets up the whole movie. But we then have, after this, Donnie proposing to Bianca. They're like in the hotel room. It's after the fight. And this scene is funny, where he gives the whole speech. He talks to Rocky about like how he proposed to Adrian. And I love how they do these flashbacks where Rocky describes things and he doesn't romanticize anything. He literally tells him how much of a fucking Momo he was when he was young and dumb and didn't know how to speak English. So he goes and he gives this whole speech, but she doesn't hear him because she doesn't have her hearing aids in. And we didn't cover this in the first one, in the first review, but so her character and her like backstory, she's a musician. She's got, you know, degenerative hearing loss and yada yada. So this is like a thing, and she wears her hearing aids. And I have a quick don't do that.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi everyone. If you have, you know, your potential spouse or even a friend who has degenerative hearing loss, or who maybe is hard of hearing already, or whatever the case, can you just do yourself a favor and them a favor and make sure, if you have to tell them something, I don't know, important, that they're either looking at you or they have their hearing aids in? He does this whole, like, he sets this up as, you know, hey, we've been together 3 years or however long it is. It's a few years. And, you know, at the point, and you're my ride or die, and yada, yada. She's in the bathroom. She's around the corner and in the bathroom. You're talking at a relatively low voice, too. I'm pretty sure even if she had the hearing aids in, she couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
Just make sure, especially when you're proposing, that the shit's set up. Her shit's in, she can hear you, everything's good to go. So you don't look like a schmuck at the end of this.
Yeah, this becomes a theme throughout Creed 2 here, where it's like, you have decided to make your life with this person who is eventually going to be deaf. And her solution, being a fucking poor from fucking South Philly, is like, oh, it's okay, I've learned sign language. Michael B. Jordan needs to learn some fucking sign language throughout this movie. Because as we progress, we're going to find out he really needs to learn it. And he's basically like, ugh, disease baby, disease baby, disease baby. Like, no.
Yes. Well, and he does know some of it, because there is a couple of shots of her signing to him in the ring. So he does know some of it. But
what, keep your left up?
But not enough to like be dangerous and actually communicate with somebody.
Oh, he knows. Ask him. He's dangerous.
He knows bullshit. That's what he knows. That's all he knows right now. But
Which, I mean, is this really bullshit? Because
it is
wicked on the nose.
It is. It is. I actually know
That's
somebody
crazy.
who teaches sign language, and that is bullshit. I know a couple of other ones, but yes, that is bullshit.
That's
So,
a lot. That's a lot.
It's involved. It's involved.
It's a lot to curse at somebody. Don't make it so hard. Cursing's easy. Make it easy for everyone.
Hell yes.
So Rocky then gets this meeting with Drago. Drago comes into his restaurant, and we have scenes between Rocky and Drago, and then Donnie in, I guess they're in the Philly cheesesteak place again. Because if you live in Philly, that's all you eat, apparently. And they get the TV where they see the press conference of Drago and his son and challenging Adonis to a fight, whatever. And Rocky and Donnie have a falling out here because this is what we didn't get in the first film. Because Rocky's like, I'm your ride or die. You're in, I'm in. And then Donnie says, because now they have separate views on this. Because Donnie's almost fighting to avenge his father's death. And Rocky's like, I was there and your dad's dead because of me. So well, I don't want to be involved in this shit again.
Which one is a very valid point.
Yes.
But and also too, like everybody keeps like, oh, Rocky, even like sports announcers are like, Rocky really should have thrown in the flag. Apollo specifically said, stop this fight and I will kill you. Do not stop this. You ain't stopping nothing.
You don't stop this fight. No matter what. No matter what.
I may hold on to some guilt for maybe a year and a half. After that, I'm going to be like, I did exactly what he wanted me to do. He's a grown-ass man, like Phylicia Rashad says later. How was I going to fucking stop it? Well, ain't your fucking dad?
Listen, this is what you don't know as a white dude who grew up as an Arizona trash bag.
I love it when this is Armando's minority corner where he forgets he's not white.
So, growing up as an Italian and a Catholic,
oh, double whammy on the minority.
You harbor a lot of guilt for a lot of years. Okay, so I can identify with Rocky in this, and it's like that guilt doesn't wash away. It stays there with you, and you never get rid of it.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
No, it seems pretty foreign. When you're white, you call it manifest destiny, and you plow forward west.
Exactly. So they find out here because Donnie and Bianca, after this whole falling out, they moved to LA, closer to his mom, his training, blah, blah, blah. He goes back to Delphi, and magically they want to train him. So while they're at his mom's house, they find out that Bianca's pregnant. They have the discussion of, hey, the baby could be deaf. She could have the same, or he could have the same hearing loss issue. It could be genetic, yada yada. So
yeah, I gotta drop this in if I can real quick.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, future parents of possibly disabled children. Don't react this way.
Yes.
This is a terrible reaction, especially when your wife, pregnant with your child, has the thing that she's concerned your baby's going to have.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa. My baby's not going to be like you. It's going to be like me. Ugh.
It's going to be super ripped. He even
tells Rocky, like, I can't fucking imagine this. And Rocky has to, like, set him straight later. And he's like, dude, are you going to fucking love the kid no matter what? And shut up about it. Quit feeling sorry for yourself. Which I'm like, yeah, dude, you're going to be the only one that can hear. That's amazing.
Yes.
You can have the TV at any voice. You can, when they turn their backs, you can curse them the fuck out. Do you know how many marriages I would have saved if I had married a deaf woman?
This I love your the positive outlook that you have on that.
You gotta look on the bright side, man. It's
yes,
all about the bright side.
There are positives. Well, and the funny thing is when she actually brings up to him when he finds out that she's pregnant, and she's like, you know, this could be genetic, like this could be a thing, and you know, we need to prepare for it. And the look on his face is almost like he had never once crossed his mind. Like, you have a person with this like degenerative disease, whatever, hearing loss, whatever. Never once crossed your mind that like, hey, that could happen. He was just like, what? It could? I didn't know that's how babies worked.
When they want to, they make him incredibly ignorant, which is really weird because it feels like you're trying to sell me that on the fact that he's a poor, and he's not.
Well,
he never was ever since he got out of juvie.
Well, and they're trying to sell you on the fact that he's just a dumb jock, which he's also not. Because Rocky even says in the first Creed, when he first goes to Rocky goes, listen, I could just tell by the way you carry yourself and the way you're speaking, you're educated. Why the fuck do you want to box? Like that's the whole basis of this. He's got this job at like a financial institution and he's very well educated and blah, blah, blah. But you're right. When it's convenient, they kind of just make him, well, he's just a dumb jock here.
Genetimicisms? What is that?
Exactly.
How can the baby get what you have when it's growing in your tum-tum? I don't understand make baby words. The fuck out of here.
A similar story happened to a teacher in the Florida area.
We then get to the fight between Drago's son, Viktor, and Donnie. And Adonis gets his ass beat the hell up to the point where, and what I did like about this fight, like his eye isn't just closed. It looks like he has chlamydia in his eye. Like it's a goddamn just ground beef.
Look, and you think you keep a girl like Bianca around and not put in your face where her boho is? That's how you get pink eye, cuz. Straight up.
That's the worst case of pink eye ever.
Worth it.
Hell yes.
But the ref comes over and like, how many fingers am I holding up? And this is one of the most real things ever. You have the trainer with the ice on his neck and just tapping him for how many fingers he's got up. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's real. That shit is real as fuck.
I think they did it in Rocky 1.
Yeah.
When he needed to have his eye cut, they tapped his thigh.
Yep.
Yep, very real boxer thing. And I don't know why we all pretend like, oh, stop the fight. We care so much about this guy. No, you don't. You're fucking tapping on his neck. He can't see shit.
Yeah, exactly.
The fuck out of you. Don't care. Let's just fucking get the fight on.
Listen, the point of this sport, just FYI, is to punch the other person in the head as many times and as hard as you possibly can. Nobody cares. Okay?
You were right.
And then we get the scene here at the end of the fight where Viktor cold cocks Donnie while he's down, so he gets disqualified. So this is how they explain away Donnie still has the belt and we have to have a rematch. So the Donnie goes to the hospital here. Rocky comes to visit. It doesn't go well. So Rocky's like, shit, I guess I got to take a train all the way back. Here's the other thing. So Rocky comes back later in this movie because like Donnie still needs him and yada, yada. Rocky says in that scene, I took a train. It took me 3 days. I watched, I fucking through Idaho and I watched, went over the flyover states. I know we talked about Rocky being a rich and having a robot made, and he was flying back then. Like this is the only thing I don't like about the reverting Rocky back to punch drunk Rocky is you could still fly. You're not like it's a tube in the sky that could fall out of the sky. Now you're just like a complete moron that takes trains and whatever the fuck. Like that piece bothered me.
I was going to explain this away because I was like, okay, you know what? Like, he's taken a lot of hits to his head, and like they made it such a big deal in part 4 that his fucking bell has been rung. He's probably got a perforated eardrum. Like, there's some shit probably going on in his head where cabin pressure is not great for him. So totally get that.
Okay.
But right, I was totally there, and that's how I was going to explain it away. But then this bitch gets on a plane and flies to Russia. So clearly, that ain't a thing.
This is such a crock of shit.
I think it's all a way to disarm people. I think he's the best con man that ever lived. Because he knew it was going to be a difficult conversation, right? Like, Adonis is getting ready to have this baby. He's desperate to try and get some piece of him back as humanity. Rocky knows where he's been. The guy doesn't want to talk to him at all. As you said, did not go well the last time they met up.
Yes.
We don't know how much time it's been, but Adonis is fully healed now.
Yeah.
Right? So now Rocky's coming back, and he's like, this is going to be a fucking difficult conversation. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I don't know. Oh, I got it. I'll play fucking dumb and say I took a fucking train. That'll throw this kid way the fuck off. What the fuck you doing here, Rock? I don't want to see you. Oh, I took a train. I guess I gotta take it back for 3 days. Fucking schmuck.
Oh my god. But we also get the Drago family reunion at the dinner. So the story for this is after Drago loses his fight to Rocky in Rocky 4, his wife, Brigitte Nielsen, leaves him and apparently goes and like bangs a bunch of oligarchs in Russia or whatever the fuck she does. So we have this Russian family reunion with like Russian oligarchs and the two Dragos, and then Brigitte Nielsen shows up, and then there's like a mommy left us and why is she here, and like that whole thing. So there's some family issues going on there.
You no mother mine. Fuck off, huh? Fuck you. I don't know you, you stranger.
What am I, made of rubles? I have only money for goat journey.
We get back by Pooch Face American, huh? Super fight, man. Super fight.
I'm sorry it takes so long to answer phone. As you know, I have severely deformed foot.
So after, because, you know, we talked about Rocky going back, talking to Donnie. They talk about regrets and, you know, things like that. And they get the call that Bianca's going into labor. So then we get the hospital scene where Michael B. Jordan's like, ugh, a deaf baby. And he's like, he can't handle it. And Rocky's like, dude. And what makes me laugh about this scene is Rocky says to him, like, are you going to love the baby? And Adonis looks at him like he just completely disrespected his entire fucking family. And he was like, fucking kind of question is that? Well, it's the kind of question because Rocky is looking at you as you're like, it's going to be fine. I know they tested her and they're basically like, yeah, she's going to be deaf or at the very least hard of hearing. But she'll get better, you know, because we've cured those things in the United States. Like, that's his attitude. That's why Rocky asked that question, because you're feeling sorry for her, but you're not. You're feeling sorry for yourself. And the best line in this is Sylvester Stallone saying that baby doesn't feel sorry for herself. And I think he might even say she doesn't feel sorry for herself yet. Like, babies don't feel sorry for themselves. They don't do that until you do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a really good line. It's not a throwaway line. It's a pretty heavy line, but but it's just a quick, like, little thing. I loved that line. This whole conversation on Rocky's side, I really liked.
Oh yeah, like I was laughing at it because, like you, he's like, "What the hell kind of question is that, Rock?" It's like it's called a legitimate question.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, of course I'm gonna love her. Cool. Tell your fucking face, bro. Because that is not the face where I'm gonna love my kid. That is the face of like, holy shit, my kid's going to be maybe different from somebody else.
Yes.
I can't handle that possibly.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What did you think was gonna happen?
I don't get it.
We then get the crying baby scene, which, so she's crying. He can't get her to stop. He calls Marianne Creed. He takes her to the gym. He starts hitting the heavy bag. And then he realizes he's being a prick here. And, you know, everything gets better. But if anybody out there has ever had a kid, this scene actually made me laugh. Like, this is a very heartfelt scene. He kind of realizes, yada, yada. It made me laugh because if you've ever had a kid, like a baby, and even if your wife's there or your husband's there, but especially if they leave and you're young and you don't know, like, it's a baby. It can't tell you what's wrong. And it's crying. Literally all you want to do is call everybody you know to be like, it won't stop. How do you get it to stop? Like, it's one of those, it's so frustrating to have a child that won't stop crying for whatever reason. It's hungry, it's shit itself, whatever the hell. And you're just like, you feel so helpless at that point. So it made me laugh because I've been there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't get that because I abandon all my children.
That's true.
Or boredom. One of the two. No, this made me laugh because I was like, dude, thank God your fucking daughter is deaf because you scream like a fucking psycho. Like, you finally got her to stop crying. Like, dude, you are so lucky she's deaf. And again, like I was saying, one of the benefits, bright side it, bitch.
Yep, there you go.
You can have these crazy moments of clarity where you gotta fucking do your warrior cry. She ain't gonna know the difference.
No,
It's all gravy to her.
She'll know because you got the I'm taking a painful shit face. Like, she'll be like, he's doing something serious right now.
Or in his case, peeing. The scene where he pees.
Oh, because he's got he got the kidney issues. Yeah. That's rough.
Dude, I had an innie at that point. It hurt so bad.
A similar story happened to a young man in the Pacific Northwest about 20 years ago.
Rocky and Donnie then get the news that Drago wants to do the rematch, but he wants to do it in Russia, of course. So they get to training. Now, this is one of the reasons I said, like, the ante gets upped in Creed 2. Mm-hmm. The training scenes, like, again, in the original Rocky where Mickey's training them and Chase the Chicken and all that shit, right? It's like these old school, but it's like old school corny methods of training. Like, this shit is like, he goes to like doomsday preppers out in the desert and like that shit, those scenes are awesome.
Yeah, this reminded me of like how hardcore the training montage was for Rocky 4. Because that montage was dope.
Yeah.
He's just carrying around the fucking 2x4s and climbing mountains and outrunning Mercedes Benzes and shit. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was dope. Very scary though. I would not want to box around those people. That looks like if you lose a boxing match, you're going to be forced to drop the soap.
No, that's if you lose a boxing match, you have to fight for your life in fucking Thunderdome. Like, that's where this shit is.
There was a lot of things going on in that prison camp that were very non-consensual.
Yeah. For some reason, I think somebody was like, Master Blaster run by the town. Like, there was a guy there that did that shit.
Master Blaster runs Bartertown.
We then get to Fight Night in Russia, right? Bianca comes out. She sings Donnie's intro as they come in. So she accompanies him to the ring.
If I may stop you.
Oh, go right ahead.
This is one thing I've neglected to mention so far, but his intro songs have gotten so much worse as time has gone on. His first fight, right, when he was still hungry and like, I am my own man and I'm going to beat this Englishman the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's fucking Tupac, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking, what was a Hail Mary or some shit? He was just fucking like, as soon as that came on, I'm like, oh yeah, like we're going to fuck something. My stank face came on immediately. And then the first fight of this, it was like, and this is hip hop because I'm hip hop a bebop. And it's like, all right.
This was as close. So I liked the soundtrack for both of these movies. The soundtracks were awesome. With that said, this was the only moment, like her singing, and it was just like, and I lost, and now I'm found, and whatever. It's
right.
Inspirational. You know how I feel about those things. But this was the only thing, this was the only song in both of these movies that resembled earlier Rocky movies. Like, I'm driving in my Porsche and I'm feeling feelings, and whatever fucking song he had. But like, that's how it was back then. It was like, we need a song that describes exactly what's going on, and he's feeling feelings, and here you go, Survivor, write this song, and you know, like fucking. Yeah. But
and I don't mind her song, but like it's an entrance song. That shit should have like some DMX fucking
100%.
Like,
yeah.
If I'm getting ready to go into a boxing match and there isn't somebody barking in my song, I'm not hyped in any
Absolutely.
way.
Hell yes.
But we then get another epic fight. They both beat the shit out of each other. Drago Sr. throws in the towel at the end of this fight after Brigitte and her oligarch husband or whatever the fuck, they decide to leave because they're, because Russians are front runners, and if you're not winning, we leave.
Fuck these loser. He lose.
Why he lose so bad?
I know watch loser. You suck. You piece of shit. I fucking hate. No son of mine.
You miss your turn. Too bad.
So after Drago throws in the towel, Brigitte and her dude leave. We then get emotional ending had by all. Drago realizes boxing isn't important and my son is, and we get Bianca and Donnie having their moment at the end. And then the movie ends as like Donnie goes to his father's grave and he starts talking to him. We see Drago and his son bonding over jogging through the war-torn streets of Ukraine. And then we finally get Rocky, who goes to Vancouver, wherever the hell his son lives, to go see his son and meet his grandson, because apparently all Rocky knows how to do is call his son and leave voicemails. He never once makes an attempt to actually go see his son until the end of this movie.
No, dude. I don't know why people are so excited to write themselves as shitty fathers in movies. There's a string of this happening right now, and I'm not having it.
Yeah.
Well, where it's just like, did all of you just have terrible, like, and it's not like my dad was hard on me and made me wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to clean and exercise or whatever the fuck. Yeah. This is like, oh no, my dad ignores me for months and I have a fucking 3-year-old fucking child now he's never met.
Yeah.
That's weird.
They did set this up in, what was it, Rocky Balboa?
Where they set it up in Balboa, and then the first Creed, I think they even mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah, he mentions it, but because they have the scene, I believe, in Balboa where him and his son get into it about like, oh, I don't want to live in your shadow.
Yeah.
I don't know. His son throughout the history of this franchise, I hate to judge, but kind of grows up as a bit of a bitch.
Oh, 100%.
So
I'm glad he gets killed by a crock pot in fucking This Is Us. Fuck you.
Stop this disgrace!
No, this is the only thing, like, we had one thing in Creed, which was the final boxer, the champ. This is the one thing at the very end is, you know, him, I guess, making amends with his son and whatever, which is fine to have that. But I didn't like the setup of it to where, like, you could have just literally you didn't have to make Rocky a terrible dad. You could have just had him like, oh, my son got a job in Vancouver, so he had to move there. That's why he's not in the movie. Like, whatever. You didn't have to have that.
Or don't even mention, I don't think, like, the press corps was like, hey, Sly, great movie and all. What happened to Robert Balboa? Nobody cared. Never had to mention it.
Yeah, no.
Nobody cared.
You were right.
Just say the robot from Rocky IV killed him. Like, whatever. just
Right?
kill him off. The robot went fucking crazy and murdered my son. That's a great storyline. And then he goes and visits Adrian, Paulie, and his son's grave because they're all buried right next to each other because the robot went on a fucking rampage.
It's like, what's up, fam? Turns out somebody stole my chair in the tree because, you know, landscaping came around and was like, that's a chair. It doesn't belong in a tree. We should throw that away.
It's also it's dilapidated. But no, asshole. I mean, other than that, I love Creed. I love Creed 2. I'm excited to see Creed 3. I liked all these movies. Outside of them being Warner Brother movies, I really liked them.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Michael B. Jordan and Tessa Thompson, two fantastic fucking actors.
Yep.
You have Sly, you have the whole story behind this whole universe that's been built up. It's formulaic. They took 2, 3, and 4, they mashed it into one movie, and it worked. It was well paced. It didn't feel like I was sitting here all fucking day watching this story I barely cared about. It was good. You know, I think some of the extras, him being so concerned and handling it so shitty about the baby being deaf. And look, some people get very interested in like, but what about their kids? And are they going to have children and their marriage? Some people are into that stuff.
Yeah.
I could care less, especially if it's like a side piece for the movie. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if the movie's about your family and growing your, it makes sense. This is a boxing movie. There's, you know, obviously other like side plots to it, and you can add some things because it is about relationships, but that piece of it, like I didn't really care about. Like,
no, there was no weight whatsoever. And again, you're making the baby deaf. I don't know who told you that was the most tragic thing that could happen, but it's not.
If they did it, like, it's almost, and again, I know we were like, it's like Rocky 2, 3, and 4. If they did it like they did when Rocky and Adrian have the kid, that was like his motivation because she had issues and she was in a coma and yada yada. Yep. If you did it that way, where it was like that was the motivation for him to go and fight Drago or whatever. Like if you did it in that way, then it makes sense.
Yep.
This just kind of makes Adonis look like an asshole. Like that's the only purpose it serves.
Yeah, completely.
But
completely. I'm not saying it's not a big deal. I'm just saying like that's not something that I've ever seen somebody be like, I can't possibly a deaf child? Oh my God, how would we ever like dude, there's a million other things. That's hard. Like, her life is going to be a little bit harder, but it's not going to be like Stephen Hawking hard. It's not going to be like Stevie Wonder before he made it hard. You're going to be all right.
You're right.
That's all I got for this. I love both these movies.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty good. I'm curious to see. I haven't seen any previews for Creed 3.
Neither
So
have
I'm
I.
curious to see if Rocky's going to be in this third one because they're really making it seem like he was finally saying goodbye and handing the franchise off. I'm done.
Well,
this is all you.
At the end of the fight, he gives him like the pound. He sits down. He said, "This is your time," and then they slowly creep back as he sits in the chair and. Donnie goes in, accepts the belt, or does his victory speech or whatever. So it was like they were literally passing the torch to Michael B. Jordan at that point.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else for this one?
Nothing.
All right, brother. Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 2018's Creed 2.